All right, how to buy a mortgage foreclosure. Today, I'm going to show you the steps to buying a mortgage foreclosure. Can be a really profitable business, can be a fun business. After all, what's more fun than going to an auction, putting up your hand, being the winner of a property, hopefully at a great price. Not uncommon at mortgage foreclosure sales to get properties for 15, 20, even 30% off of retail, which can be a lot of money. Average house in America is $400,000 these days. You get 30% off that, that's $120,000 off that purchase price. So it can be really, really worthwhile. It's also a way that you can buy properties to go into a business venture with, meaning buy it, fix it, and flip it. It's a great way to acquire properties for that. So how does it work? First thing you have to do is you have to get the list. Now, most places, a simple Google search will get you the list. If you're in a Western state or one of the states where they have deed of trust sales, then just look for trustees sale. If you're in the East Coast, any of the 13 original colonies where they're holding mortgage foreclosure sales, just a Google search on mortgage foreclosure sales, and then the city and state, like Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Or if you're in a trustees sale, like trustees sale, Phoenix, Arizona. So you get the list. That's step one. On the list, it's going to tell you how much money is owed. And take a look at that and say, is that more money than the house is worth or less? Now, you don't know a lot about the house yet, but just look generally. And if you say, no, that looks like a lot less. That's, in Maricopa County, which is Phoenix, Arizona, it's $50,000. Almost anything's worth more than $50,000 there. So there's a good start. So you look at that, and then you gather together a list of properties you're interested in, and you start doing your due diligence. Now, what does due diligence mean? Due diligence means you look up the values of properties in that neighborhood. That's as easy to do with Realtor.com, with Zillow, with Property Shark, lots of places. You can even put things on a Google map and see what's selling in the area. So find out what the values generally are. And then I always take Google Maps and I just do a street view to see what the property looks like. Now, obviously, Google Maps isn't going out every day, but you get a general idea of what the property looks like. Take a look at the street. You can, with Google Maps, you can put the little man on the map and you can look around and see and say, is this the kind of neighborhood I'd like to invest in? Does it look nice? Does the house look okay? And then what I'm trying to do is eliminate properties I'm not interested in. And I'm going to whittle through that list. And then I'm also going to, before I go out driving properties, which you're going to be doing, what I do next is I pull the list to see which properties have been removed from the list. Because what you find is that as the day of the sale gets closer and closer, many properties disappear from the list. You might say, well, how does that happen? What happens is sometimes people file a bankruptcy to put off the sale. That takes it off the list. Sometimes people catch up on the mortgage. That takes it off the list. Sometimes people fight it. They may be going to court to stop the sale. That takes it off the list. So it's very common that properties are going to be removed from the list and that you're going to have like a big list to start with and a smaller list as time goes by. I usually don't do drive-bys of property, meaning taking a look at the property, until 3 to 4 days prior to the sale. And they do keep updating the list as properties are removed. So what I'm going to do about 4 days before the sale, I'm going to reprint the list to see what's remaining on it. I'm going to compare that to ones I looked at in Google Street View and say, all right, these are the ones I liked in Google Street View. These are the ones that are left. Now it's time to go driving. And then I look at the properties and say, on the drive-by, is this an occupied property? Does this neighborhood still look good? Does the property look like it has severe problems? Like, do I see evidence of a foundation problem? It should be windows that are kind of twisted out of rack. Is it occupied or vacant? Occupied could be better in a cold weather state where maybe the property hasn't frozen, where if it's in a cold weather state and it's gone over a winter and been allowed to freeze, it can do a lot of damage. It can also be a negative because you have to get rid of the occupant, whether that's the former owner or a tenant, because when you buy the property at the foreclosure auction, they don't help you get rid of the tenant. It's up to you. So you have to deal with that either by negotiation or by legal process. So just note that. And also as you're going around, if you see properties for sale, pull the flyers, find out what the pricing is, maybe call the realtor up and see what the market is like in that area. And that'll give you some good information and intelligence about values in the area. So what you're trying to do is figure out the properties you're interested in and get rid of the ones you're not interested in. And then at the auction, you're going to have your short list of properties. Make sure that you decide on your maximum bid before you go to bid on that property. You do not want to be deciding on the fly in the heat of emotion, like, oh, I'm going to get that property, and ego bound. You're like, I'm going to get it. I'm not going to let that person get it. Don't do that. Decide what your maximum bid is on the way in. My suggestion, don't bid any more than 75% of after repaired value minus the repairs. It's absolute maximum. And repairs, you can only make a good guess because you're just seeing the property from the outside. It's not like these sales, they give you an open house. They don't. You can just drive by on the outside. You can knock on the door if you're bold, talk to whomever's there, maybe get an idea of condition, but that's the most you can do. So, don't overbid on the properties, because the idea here is to get a great deal, not just to get a property. Just want to get a property, go out with a real estate agent, look at 50 properties and pick your very, very favorite. If you want to get a bargain, then go to the foreclosure sale, and that's where you're going to get those. So you're all prepared. Make sure that when you look up the list of properties for sale, look at the conditions of sale very carefully. The conditions of sale are going to tell you, when does payment have to be made? What form does payment take? Usually payment is either same day or within most a day or two after the sale. So you need cash. You can't use a mortgage because mortgage companies can't move fast enough to get your mortgage, and there are some title issues that they have to deal with, so they're not able to finance them. So make sure that you're prepared with your money. Typically it's going to be delivered in the form of either an ACH payment or a wire transfer, or it's going to be a certified check or a money order. So make sure that you have all that dialed in, and also make sure that you check and, if necessary, register in advance for the sale. It's very common that these sales require advance registration, and you want to make sure that you do that, because if you don't, you won't be able to bid at the sale. The other thing I would say about these sales, generally, if you're getting into this, really devote yourself to it and go to a sale or two and just watch it when you're not there to bid. Find out what the pattern is like. Like, we had one sheriff's deputy in our area that used to go really, really quickly. And unless you were completely organized, you couldn't keep up. He was just dying to get to lunch. So make sure that you go to the sale when you're not having the pressure of wanting to bid. Understand what order they take the properties in. Understand how quickly the person goes. You really need to do that in advance. Mortgage foreclosures can be a great way to find investment properties. You can find absolute deals, but it's not for the uneducated, it's not for the uninitiated. It's for people who take the time to learn the business and then go out and do it. There's a related business to this called overages, which is when the property sells for more than the debt that's owed. Then you can make a business out of getting that extra money left over for the former homeowner for a percentage. I've made a business out of that. It's great. Foundation of it is the people have no idea there's any money they could claim, so they're happy to pay you to do it. So if you're interested in that, definitely check out my Intro to the Overages video, which you should see a link up there. If you don't see that link, it just means your browser doesn't support that. Just look down below, then there's a link to the video. In the Intro to the Overages business video, I give you the rundown on this amazing overages business. Really terrific business. For someone who wants to feel good and doing good for other people and to make great money, it's absolutely ideal. So if that interests you, definitely next go see the Intro to the Overages business video. It's a 15-minute video, not terribly long. It may introduce you to your next career and your next $1 million business idea, because it's that good. So this is Attorney Bob Diamond signing off for now. Go to the Intro to the Overages business video, and I'll see you over there.